Hello, wonderful vlog watchers. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of my story, where I tell my life story in fictional format as a testimony for how I got to where I am and where I'm going. We are at the end. We have pretty much caught up with where I'm at. There's just a few little things I need to touch up on and talk about. So let's see if we can get them all in this webisode, and maybe we can do a whole sum up video for the next one, and we'll be finished with the My Story series. After that, I will continue to log my life, but it will only be during Leo season under the 40 days of self-love. I'll always have that 40 days of self-love vlog for you guys, but I'm going to be moving on towards servicing you. So, and as I say, I preach, I practice what I preach, I practice what I teach. I don't teach it, I don't preach it unless I practice it. So, I teach and I preach that in order to have a better life, it starts with you. You have to start with you. You can't start anywhere else. So, I started with me, and I now have video evidence of it. Ha ha ha. Anyway, okay guys, so let's get started with my story on wrapping this stuff up. Well, first of all, one of the things that I'm trying to accomplish with telling my story is I want all the things that anybody could blackmail me with, that they could hold against me, to already be out there. You know, I already put it out there. Whether they see that I put it out there or not, I don't know. That's on them. But for me, I want to get it out there. And there is a part of me that I choose to hide from society. I don't think that it fits in. I think that because it's a part of me, it does play into my S-wordality, my desire to want to unalive myself at times. You know, society can shame me, society can shun me, society can disown me, they can make sure that I never have a community, they can lock me up. Society says that I should be locked up, the one that I live in, because I have this aspect to me. I am a drug addict. I'm a drug addict. I'm a drug addict, and I am a drug user. And I have been a drug addict and a drug user since childhood. And I kind of left it out of my story. I kind of, you know, because I mean, I feel immense judgment. Like I said, bringing it up to society thinks I should be shunned. I don't deserve to live a nice life because I am a drug addict. My number one addiction is marijuana. Alcohol, I don't think I'm addicted to alcohol. I can keep alcohol in my room for years and just on certain occasions want to drink it. If you see me on those certain occasions, you'll probably be like, wow, she's a crazy alcoholic. And it's like, whatever. You don't see me day to day. But I do drink, and I do like to have fun. I like to go out and have fun and drink. I like to take drugs. I could get addicted to cocaine. Cocaine's way too expensive. I have other priorities in my life. I want to take care of my family, my kids and stuff, so I never really got into cocaine. It's one that I have done. I've had my experiences with it back whenever I was a teenager, before I ever had kids. But I would never, I could see I getting addicted to that. I did find out well, as a teenager and in my early adulthood, in my 20s, my drug of choice was Adderall. And I don't know if I'll get into a part of that in this video, maybe in the next one. But I have always been addicted to tobacco and marijuana. And I was an avid smoker for years. All the way up until I put myself into this metaphysical school and I started desiring to be a spiritual teacher, which the beginning of that desire came from, I've always had the desire to learn spirituality, but again, there came a point where I couldn't get any more in, and it was like, you have to teach it now. And so that's where the desire first came from. And I never wanted to be healthy because, again, I would rather unalive myself. I don't take marijuana to cope. I don't take it to numb me. It doesn't numb me. It doesn't demotivate me. I think I take it because it makes me feel more normal. And so I feel like stuck between a rock and a hard place because marijuana stays in your system so long. Marijuana normalizes me. My brain is just, it goes 24/7. In the past especially, now not so much, but in the past especially, marijuana would slow that down and help normalize me, but without it, I wasn't normalized. So it's like I felt so wrong because I don't look not normal, and people think that I could just control it like a normal person, yet I wasn't able to, and marijuana helped that, but then that made me a bad person, drug addict that should be locked away. So either I am this broken person that can't fit in with the world, or I'm this horrible, awful person that shouldn't fit in with the world. And all I wanted to do was find a place where I could fit in, and it didn't look like that was possible, and that brings us to wanting to unalive. I don't know if that is clear or not, but that's where it comes from, that kind of place. But whenever I put myself in the because I always wanted to unalive, I never cared about my health. Why care about your health if all you want to do is unalive? And I would do risky, crazy things a lot of times, and I would do it because, yeah, heck yeah, let's get on that roller coaster. Heck yeah, let's go skydiving. Let's jump out of a plane. Heck yeah, let's jump off of a bridge with a rubber band on our back. I've walked across the glass bridge, and it's just scary. Your heart's pounding, but it's like you don't care because if an accident happens, yay! I think most people are like, I don't want to do that because if I unalive by doing it, I don't want to do that. But for me, it's like, if I unalive while doing it, yay! So I would do risky things, and because I didn't feel like it was possible for me to be able to find where I could fit in, because in order for me to be able to have what I need to be able to slow down, to be able to fit in, I ain't eligible for fitting in. Does that make sense? Because in order for me to have my drug to fit in, but that's just marijuana. Other drugs, meth, I never could get addicted to that. It would make me sick every time I would use it, and I would just use it to hang out with the people that was hanging around and doing it. There was a time in like the 90s that everybody was on meth. It seemed like everyone in my whole entire state was on meth, so it was like couldn't get away from it. But it would make me sick, and I would just a lot of times pretend to do it with them, or something, or just be like, no, I'm good, I don't know. I never liked that. But hallucinogens was a different story. First of all, I wasn't able to, I always wanted to do hallucinogens, but I wasn't able to get a hold of hallucinogens until I was a mom. And once I was a mom, you have other priorities, okay? And whenever you have other priorities, you just don't do it. I didn't do hallucinogens. My friends around me were doing it. I would listen to their trips and everything. But as my kids got older, I was able to experiment some with hallucinogens, and we'll get there. So those are all the drugs and the type of drug addict that I am. I was addicted to marijuana and tobacco. So whenever I enrolled myself into this metaphysical school stuff and I was following the Serious Joy step system, there's certain days, step number 9, I'll just put that out there, whatever. I would love to teach it that it's easier to stop something old and start something new. And so I was like, no way, this could be true. So I was like, if this is true, then I should be able to overcome my addictions using this knowledge, right? So I decided to start easy. I started with, because all addictions are hard. They're all tough. So at the time that I was trying to become in this metaphysical school stuff, I began to change my viewpoint on life. I don't want to be unalive now because I've got stuff to teach, and I don't want to be unalive because I've got stuff to do now. Even if I'm crazy and different, it's okay. I'm going to be crazy and different doing it, I feel like I can be me and do it. So I decided to put to the test, and at the time, and I was trying to get more healthy. I wanted to start exercising more. But the things that I'm addicted to, that I could look at, that I was addicted to nicotine and tobacco, cigarettes. I was addicted to marijuana, for sure. I was addicted to sugar. There's definitely an addiction to sugar there going on. I gotta have my sweets every day. Addicted to caffeine. Caffeine at the time, I would drink like a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper a day. So very, very addicted to caffeine. And addicted to video games. I had that video game addiction. And that video game addiction, man, did it wreak havoc on my being a good mom, because I would get sucked into the video games and neglect my children. I don't know. I get a B for neglect on my momming. But just to sum up the whole entire how I mommed. But anyway, yeah, my video game addiction was real. That's real. But yeah, those are the only addictions that I could really pinpoint in my life, especially the unhealthy ones. And so, to me, the easiest one to tackle would be the video game addiction, right? Or the caffeine. Like, those were right there. Which one's which? So I put it to the test. Can I start stopping on this day? And it's like you stop doing this thing and you start doing this thing. And it's on step 9 days. Any net 9, step 9 day. And I bet it's especially powerful in Aries season, which is the net 9 energy. But I don't know. Don't get me to lying to you. We'll make sure I know everything before I teach it. That's for sure. But anyway, yeah. So I stopped the video games and I started reading metaphysical books, and it was easy. It wasn't. I've tried to stop addictions so hard. I've tried to tackle them. It was so simple. So I was like, okay, well then let's do caffeine. And I stopped Dr. Pepper and I started tea and water, which tea is also caffeine, but it's not as much. And I also stopped coffee in the morning with caffeine-free green tea and chai, this Indian blue chai stuff. Oh, it's so good. But so I stopped that and I started, and guys, that was the day that it stopped. And then now I don't want to lie because I'm a titrate off. So I did, slowly move. Like that was the day that I started, and I slowly moved away from video games. I slowly moved more towards metaphysical books. Now I crave my metaphysical book. Am I addicted to I might be addicted to metaphysical books now, but I don't let them get in the way of my life anymore. Though I make sure that I have time for my kids and my family. So the next thing was the Dr. Peppers and the coffee, replacing that with tea and water. And yeah, that was a tight trade-off, but I was able to do it, and it was not hard. That's the point here. And so I was like, well, let's see if we can tackle tobacco using this step astrology. And guys, I never ever thought that I would be a non-smoker. And it's really crazy. But I sit here today in front of you not craving a cigarette, not needing no tobacco, and being just fine without it all. Now, I have dreams about it sometimes. I smoked for years. I started smoking cigarettes at 14 until the age of 38. I think 36 is whenever I quit. Yeah. So, it was crazy. But I replaced my cigarette time with breath work. Because my cigarette really was kind of like a stressor. Not as much as the marijuana was. The marijuana is more of a normalizer. But the cigarette was like a stress thing. So I replaced it with breath work, and I learned all kinds of breath work techniques, and now I love breathing. I love deep breathing. And it feels so much more healthy. It does. So it works. And I mean, this just made me love the step astrology system even more. But as I'm saying, I am a drug user. I'm a drug addict. And I never quit using marijuana. I still use marijuana to this day. I don't plan on quitting. I have a spiritual relationship with marijuana now. It's more of a spiritual sacrament than it is. I don't even care about getting high. It's not even that. But there's a spiritual sacrament there. So, oh goodness. But I did still want to fool around with hallucinogens, and my husband loves things like that. And I think that I told y'all early in my story, whenever I had my third baby, how my husband did go. I don't know if I told y'all that he went and did some hallucinogens, and I didn't because I still had my baby. And so he loves stuff like that, and I don't mind. I don't mind. And hallucinogens they're just a different thing. And I did do some in college, and my husband and I, we were doing all kinds of therapies too. My husband, he actually has, through the BA, real therapists working with him, and sometimes they'll work with me too. So, while I was doing my own self-help, he's working with actual therapies doing EDMR, and they're talking about this microdosing stuff, and they wanted to get him into this microdosing, and he was like, he don't want to microdose. He wants to have fun, get high. But they did put him on microdose, but he was just like, don't feel it. And For a full year, it was, I do believe, my sophomore year, the year that I was doing all the readings. And I hope that people don't, I never, ever, ever was hallucinating while doing a reading. This was always on any off time that I had. But for a full year, for just about every single full moon, my husband and I would do acid or shrooms. Now, hallucinogens you can't do every day. You really can't. But you can do them often. And my husband wanted to continue that, and I was like, no, I don't want to continue that at all. Now, during my 4 years of metaphysical school, there were times where I did journeying exercises. There are meditation exercises, and there are journeying exercises. I never did a journeying exercise as prescribed by my schooling while on acid or anything. I did do it one time because, I don't know, acid, it gives you deep insights. But my guides let me know that real spiritual reality, like a lot of people think that real spiritual reality is what you experience on acid. My guides let me know that that's not the case, that we experience a spiritual reality that can be experienced while you're in the physical reality. That's what we experience, not real spiritual reality. If that makes sense. If you can follow that, good for you. But we experience spiritual reality that can be experienced in physical reality, while in physical reality that is different from spiritual reality outside of physical reality. So while we're on acid, we experience a spiritual reality within the physical reality that's different from not being on acid and experiencing the spiritual reality in spiritual reality. Does that make sense? That's the best I can do with it. So, but it was an eye-opening year, and I did do one shamanic journey during an acid trip just because I wanted to see what it would be like, and it was intense to say the very least. And after that, I decided that, acid trips are acid trips, spiritual journeys are spiritual journeys. We're going to keep these things separate. Not because they have to be, but because we really can only process so much as physical beings. We really can. But this year was so transformative for my life. It really was. But I want to be careful, because I do not want to promote or anything. You don't need hallucinogenics for a spiritual life. Okay? They are separate things, and I certainly don't want, if anybody's wanting to become like a shaman or a spiritual teacher like I am, it's not necessary at all to have hallucinogens or drugs a part of that process. In fact, I feel like it tainted mine because of the misconception that people have about drugs. But so I wouldn't recommend it. It's just the path that I went, and I want to be honest about my path that I went. And if you happen to be someone who is going to do that anyway, I mean, you have some confirmation and another person along the journey with you. But yeah, that year was so transformative, and I hesitate to even say what I learned. I feel like it'll come out through my spiritual teachings. I don't think that it's something that's meant to be for my story series. I feel like the only thing that needs to be for my story series is my honesty. And my honesty is, there was one full year where I used hallucinogens pretty regularly, and it did help. It really did help, because I was living in a household where I had PTSD and my husband had PTSD, and it could get very volatile and it could get very crazy. And that year, took away that volatile and crazy, and it kind of replaced it with love and happiness. So I really feel like, it helped shift the atmosphere of my home, if nothing else. It helped a lot. But at the end of that year, my husband's like, we got to continue. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I really feel like I need to be grounded in reality for you guys. I mean, there's this saying that my grandpa used to say, and I hear him say it sometimes. Don't get so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. If I get so heavenly minded that I'm no earthly good, then I have failed. That's a failure in my eyes. So it is so important to me that I stay grounded, I stay with reality, and that I'm able to reach out and help those of you that are meant to be helped and reached out to. So maybe one day I'll go over my acid trips and what I saw during them. There's all kinds of fun things. I mean, I haven't had a bad acid trip. I've had a bad shroom trip, but I'd be happy to go over my trips if y'all wanted to hear about that. Let me know in the comments. But other than that, I'm not sure that I ever will. I just want to be honest with y'all. I want to be upfront. I want to be real. And so that's what this video is about. I am a drug addict. I'm a drug user and I am a drug addict. And to me, there's a difference between the two. But I'm both. I'm both. And if that makes you hate me, then bye. And look at you. You made something in my video hating me. Anyways, I thank you all so much for being here. I know that the rest of you that made it to the end of the video, y'all share so much love, and I'm so thankful for all of you in my life, and I'm so thankful for those that would care to watch this My Story series. Thank you all so, so much from the bottom of my heart. As always, be blessed with love. As we wrap up this incredible journey together, I want to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you. Your energy, your love, and your support have made this My Story series truly magical. And before we part ways, I want to take a moment to thank you for spending your precious time with me. Your comments, likes, and shares have warmed my heart, and I'm endlessly grateful for the connections that we've built. Remember, your energy has created a unique and beautiful community here at the Mystic Hillbilly. Now, as we venture forward, I feel it's essential to address something crucial. Unfortunately, the online world isn't always filled with positive vibes. There are scammers out there who may misuse my pictures and pretend to be me. Please be cautious. I will never reach out to you first. The only way to get a reading from me is by reaching out to my official email or website. If someone contacts you claiming to be me, it's more than likely a scam. I would never ask you to pay for a reading in that way. Remember, I believe in truth, integrity, and the law of attraction. If you're meant to receive guidance from me, the universe will guide you to me, and not the other way around. Trust the process and let your intuition be your guide. Before we say our goodbyes, I'd like to humbly ask you for your support. As a new YouTuber, every bit counts. If you've enjoyed our time together, consider donating. The links are in the description. And for just $2 a month, you can unlock exclusive content on my Patreon, including Mystic Message outtakes, full moon and new moon card readings, and a 40-day transformation challenge. Your support would mean the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. Love, love, and more love to each of you. Let's stay connected in the cosmic dance that we call life. Until we meet again, stay blessed, protected, and full of positive vibes. That's all she got.